Hey everybody, it's EBar. Welcome to another edition of the Late Debate. And again today I am joined by the one Tony H. What's going on?
I am doing wonderful. I'm doing fine, as some would call me on Mixer.
So fine.
So fine.
All right. So anyway, today we are tackling a big one. Should Brock Lesnar have ended Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania 30? So I know this has been talked about a lot, but we're going to talk about it again today. So, Tony, you brought this one to me, so let's hear your thoughts first about it.
All right, so here's what I'm thinking. So a lot of people in the wrestling world think Undertaker's just streak of sexiness at WrestleMania, his undefeated streak should have never ended. That's everybody's thing, is it should have never ended. Now, I disagree with that. I think it should have ended in his last match. Now, some would argue this whole Roman thing, if he was the one that ended the streak, probably would have made things kind of crazy. But I'm going to go a little bit further than that. All right, so we're going to say, what if Undertaker beat Brock Lesnar in that match and stayed undefeated? Would we have ended the streak? What would we have done with opponents? Because if he won, I think things would have been a little bit of a bigger deal than they were the last couple WrestleMania matches. So I'm going to start by saying that he would have wrestled probably up to WrestleMania, if his body would have allowed it, to WrestleMania 35, which at that point would have probably, I think, made him 26-0 before that point. So I think that he would have probably gutted it out till then, because 34 is coming up, and obviously people are rumoring if he's actually going to come back again or not. I would have had WrestleMania 31 go as planned with Bray Wyatt, although I would have had a way better build-up than Taker not showing up at all. I think that was just pitiful, but
yeah,
I like that.
I think the only time that ever worked, as far as Undertaker not showing up until the match, was whenever he was transitioning from Biker Taker back in Undertaker with Kane, and was just doing the creepy, weird stuff. I think that was the only time that it worked. It was not great whenever he didn't show up for the Bray match. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, that's fine. Like I said, I would I can't random. Sorry. So yeah, you've got 31 would have stayed the same. And I actually would have had Undertaker show up more, blah, blah, blah. And I would have had Taker win that match in a strong fashion. But I would have had Bray be really mad about it and had him be pushed from that loss with the Wyatt family as a dominant faction after the fact, in a tough loss compared to this, oh, Bray lost to Taker, and then we all know what happened to Bray after that. So I would have had an elevated loss from Undertaker boost him up, because at that point, Taker's streak was just this untouchable force. Now, WrestleMania 32, we'll warp to that real quick. He had fought Shane McMahon at Hell in a Cell. I can guarantee you, if he was undefeated, there is no way in hell he would have fought Shane McMahon at Hell in a Cell.
Such an odd choice.
It was a very odd choice. Now, if he was able to go, I would have picked Sting. Now, I know Sting was, I think, injured or close to injured at that point, but I know we're talking about undefeated streak, but everybody wanted to see Sting versus Undertaker. I would have had that happen, and I would have had Sting push him to the limit, and people would not have been mad if it was close with Sting, because they'd be like, whoa, okay, if he's going to lose, yes, it's to an older guy, but it's Sting. It's like the dream match.
Right.
Obviously, I'd have Undertaker win. So what do you think about 32 Sting Taker if that was the case?
If it led to it all the way, you're saying, would I have had Undertaker or Sting win?
Well, that, or what match would you be at 32? Because I think 31, you agree with me, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think that I also would agree with Sting, because there was always so much hype of everybody wanted to see Sting versus The Undertaker. Like, you know, whenever you get Sting in the WWE, people weren't hyped for Sting versus Triple H. And it was hype whenever he face Seth Rollins, but that was only because the title was on the line. The match everybody wanted was Sting versus The Undertaker. So, yeah, I probably would have gone with that as well. And if that's going to be his last match, I don't know. I don't know if I would have had Sting beat him, though.
Hold on. I would have had the caveat of Sting because he was so old and that's the only match left to go. If I can't beat you, I'm retiring. And have a retirement if whoever loses had to retire.
That is a good idea. That is a good idea.
And then I would have had Taker over still.
Which WrestleMania was it that Sting fought Triple H? Was it 32?
31.
31. Okay.
So you could have switched it then because at 32, Bray had a segment with The Rock.
Oh, right.
Maybe we're sitting here thinking about it. Maybe because Sting was full health at 31. Yeah, all right. See, we're doing this on the fly, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to do this. 31 had Sting versus Undertaker because Sting was healthy, Sting was ready to go. So instead of Sting Triple H, pushed it out the door, you're going to have Sting versus Undertaker.
Well, if you're going Sting versus Undertaker and then Undertaker's going to continue, I think I would have just, because that would have been even more hype. Like Sting's here, I almost said have a throw-off match with Triple H at like the Rumble or something, but that would suck considering Triple H ended up winning. You would definitely want an undefeated Sting going into WrestleMania one way or the other, but that would be really hype because he's finally in WWE. That could be what he says, I'm here for one reason and one reason only, and it's the reason that everybody's wanted me here as well, to face The Undertaker. Go up against The Undertaker at WrestleMania 31 with what you said. If I can't be the man to defeat The Undertaker, then I'll call it quits. Or maybe even have Undertaker say, well, if I can't beat you, then I'll call it quits, or whatever you want to do.
Right, have like retirement match. But I would have had like the night after Royal Rumble, have Taker come out and be like, I defeated the whole roster and nobody can beat me, and then have to go, and then have that like crow noise. I would be like, are you shitting me? And then have him just appear in the ring with the bat just pointing at him. Dude, how hype would that have fucking been, dude? I'd have been barking out hard.
The place would have exploded.
Yes.
And I don't even mean they would have cheered. I mean the actual arena would have exploded.
It would have been Gunzo, man. You could be like, take my money, WWE. You did something right, I would have been. Yeah. I have casual people that said, and I admit it, I have people who don't watch wrestling that told me if it was Sting versus Undertaker at WrestleMania, they would have watched. I mean, that's how much money they threw away with not having that match.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Like, it makes you so sad sometimes.
It does.
Because you're just like, what were they thinking? What did they not like money? Is a grudge against a company that's been dead for 15 years that much more important than giving people something entertaining? Come on now, I don't get it.
All they were missing was Eric Bischoff doing the run-in.
Oh God, I mean, shit. Ain't seen him in a while. I wouldn't mind it.
Hey, there you go. Hold on, Undertaker with Vince in his corner, Sting with Bischoff in his corner.
Oh no! Oh God!
A clusterfuck,
I wouldn't put it past him though, honestly.
You can't make it one-on-one. But so yeah, we'll do 31 Sting Taker. So 32, we do Bray versus Undertaker instead.
I'll take that because Bray was wasted at that WrestleMania anyway. I don't know what he does at 31, but something to make him look stronger. Let's see. So then that would bring to 33, and that was just this previous WrestleMania, right?
Yeah. I already got one.
All right, well, let's hear yours because I don't even really like thinking about what happened at WrestleMania 33. So
it was the rumored match before it got scrapped. I'd have had John Cena versus The Undertaker at that point. I would have had the point of, here's Undertaker, Cena. I would have had a Hell in a Cell match with those two and have those two just kick the crap out of each other, really push that boundary, maybe even have Austin do a referee just to kind of really kind of hype it all up, and Austin try to play the fair referee, and Cena never really fought Austin, but Austin would tell him to put him in his place, and then maybe have Cena tween that line like you did with The Rock the second time, and just really kind of push the whole industry lingo in there and be like, oh, no one thinks they can beat you. Well, I'm Superman, bitch, or something like just something where people would buy the fact of, yeah, Cena might put him away, and everybody be super pissed at Cena again if he beat the Streak. But what do you think of that?
I think that would be the perfect opponent for that. I think it's much more interesting than Undertaker versus Roman Reigns because, I mean, come on. They've had him beat Undertaker and John Cena in the same year, both cleanly, and it still ain't working. So, fuck all that. John Cena and Undertaker they could have stolen the show. That's what everybody would have paid to see. I mean, I could have gone without John Cena proposing to Nikki Bella if it meant having an epic match against The Undertaker. Yeah. He loses. Here's what should he goes face The Undertaker at WrestleMania, loses, then proposes to Nikki, and then Nikki says, "I don't date losers," and breaks up with them right after he loses.
You can look, but you can't touch, and then walks the ball.
Oh my God, that's perfect. But yeah, definitely John Cena. Definitely John Cena. And you're right. I do remember those rumors, and it would have been a bigger match. I mean, it's WrestleMania. That's the time to put on the most epic matches you can, and instead you got John Cena beating The Miz and Undertaker facing Roman Reigns.
You can't tell me that arena would not have been marking out for Cena, Taker, Hell in the Cell in the pay-per-view. That would have been a lot bigger. And you could have your little Brock versus Goldberg match that you had there that no one gave a crap because it was a 5-minute squash doosa. So you could have had this go 20, 25 minutes, drag it out. I'd have had Undertaker win this match, stay undefeated, and really push the boundaries. Now, I said 35. I forgot. I meant 34 because this New Orleans thing is going to come into play because that's this year's WrestleMania. So I would have had this be Undertaker's last match. Have him come out and say, I've got nothing left to prove. I'm done. I have done everything I could. I have beaten everybody I could. And have somebody come out that, to me, at this point, as of this recording, would have made sense. And if you watched the last late debate we mentioned, this guy at this point could have really elevated himself by Braun. Yes, Braun Strowman. I'd have had him come out and had him face The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and Braun Strowman, the Beast, beats Undertaker, ends the streak, and is the most dominant thing in wrestling.
That would have been completely insane. And you know what? I think what would make it even cooler is if you just had it, no gimmicks, whatever, just a one-on-one match. Yeah, maybe go through some tables or whatever, but just have Braun not only beat The Undertaker, but dominate The Undertaker. You know what I'm saying? It going into defeating him. So then you've got a huge new fucking megastar. Undertaker can finally be done. Maybe don't beat him so bad that he can't still take off his hat and jacket and all that stuff. But good ideas, man. All great.
Thank you.
Definitely a great plan.
Yeah, that's how I'd retire him. And then I have Braun stand over him, do the Braun thing. And at this point, yes, because of what happened, he would be the most hated man in wrestling, but he would also be the most dominant man in wrestling. And people would be like, well, at least it's not Roman. Well, at least it's not this guy. It's somebody who deserved to be dominant. And at that point, you have Roman versus Brock, have their little title match. And good old Braun standing here saying, I beat The Undertaker. Who's next? I'm going to get you, or something like that. And then have Braun be the guy who takes the title and runs with it. Like, it almost makes too much sense to be that guy to do it. Now, current tense, I don't want to see it. If they say Braun versus Taker is going to happen this year, I don't want to see it. He's lost twice. This point, it's just beating up an old guy. And I hate to be not disrespecting The Undertaker, but there's no streak. You're old, and you look like you've lost a step. I love you. You had a great career. You're done. So I needed this to be an undefeated streak to this really elevate. But
right.
Yeah, I wouldn't have had it happen at 30.
And another question is, yeah, that's a huge money match, Brock versus Undertaker. I mean, yeah, we had seen it years ago or whatever, but we hadn't seen it for a long time, and that's fine. But really, what did we have to gain from Brock beating Undertaker? I mean, even if he would have lost, he's still Brock Lesnar. He could still be dominating without that. And, you know, final word, one way or the other, if you even had a thought in your head, like maybe it's possible, whether you're Vince or whether you're The Undertaker, of this is not my last WrestleMania, then you shouldn't have done it, because once you end the streak, you can't get that magic back. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
21-1, it's not the same. It's not the same anymore. So it can't. People know it can be done. So what?
And include the fact the build was terrible. Like, it was like Undertaker stabbing Brock Lesnar's hand was the highlight of it, which, whatever. But they had a better build. And if anybody argues with me in the comment section, please watch it again. There was a better build to their Hell in a Cell match, I think, in 2015 at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view than there was to that WrestleMania match. That had a little bit of, like, egotistical build right there, and that match was better than their WrestleMania 30 match. The build was better than the WrestleMania 30 match, and that's at a random B pay-per-view. You ended a streak. So you ended one of the biggest streaks in the history of wrestling, and that's the match you got. You got, and I want people to remind themselves of one thing. CM Punk the year before, he left. Now, I'm just throwing the hypothetical out. Punk, I think, refused it, but if Taker went to him and said, look, man, I'm going to have you take the streak. It's all yours. You didn't get the main event at WrestleMania. Could we have had CM Punk still be in WWE right now?
Ooh, if he had beaten The Undertaker? I don't know, because, I mean, I understand that irritated Punk, you know what I mean, to an extent of, I'm the guy that's going to be around, so why am I losing to the guy who's not here that often? But I don't think that was the tipping point. I really think it was the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I really don't know.
Because he had to face Triple H again, which he didn't want to. But, I mean, let's just play hypotheticals and say, hey, not only at 29, we're going to put Rock, Cena second from last or third from last, and you're getting the main event versus Undertaker. You're ending the Undertaker streak as the biggest heel in the business. You could have him go, well, hey, I beat Taker, I got my main event, and then at 30, I would have probably said, hey, eventually people would have cheered for Punk again because he's a CM Punk. He could have stuck around, and Taker could have done another match. You could have done Taker Brock with the streak have already ended by that point, but I just hated the build, I guess. I guess, to me, I wanted a legitimate build, and years before with Triple H, with Shawn Michaels, with CM Punk, with Paul Bearer, Earn Dust and stuff. I wanted something awesome, and I got crap for a build and crap for a result. Now, I know Taker had a concussion. He gutted it out like a professional. That's not the point. The point is the match sucked ass, and the build sucked ass more. So that's
Brock
how we have
Brock is like famous for shitty WrestleMania builds, dude. I mean, lest we forget the final Raw before WrestleMania, whenever he was facing Roman the first time. Their little tug of war. Their little tug of war over the belt. Like, are you serious, bro? These people are supposed to hate each other and be ready for a match, and they're just like, I've got the belt now. I know you give me that belt. Like, come on, bro. That was horrible.
I remember watching that and going, oh, he's going to have 5 of them. No, they're just going to play tug of war. Oh, there's credits? Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was just so disheartening. You're like, something's going to happen. Something's going to fade out. Okay, well, can't wait for WrestleMania. Woo!
And the reason why I said Braun Strowman is look at the dominant monster he has been at points. You make him that dominant at the time, what I'm talking about, and really have Taker have a threat because this guy's laying everybody out, and you lay Taker out. It spells itself. Like, I know some people would go in the comments, and it's fine if they do say, hey, Taker should retire undefeated. I don't think so. There's there's a point in time where every legend needs to take the torch and pass it, as they've been saying the hell out of lately because of Roman Reigns. But anyways, this would have made a passing of the torch moment. Another big guy, another dominant monster. Here's the torch. Take it. Run with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that. I mean, obviously, Undertaker didn't have a problem doing it, or flat out he wouldn't have done it. Period. Because he's the Undertaker, he don't have to do shit. He didn't even have to come back. So if he wasn't okay with it, he wouldn't have done it. And I think that he would have been more than okay with waiting that long and then putting somebody over like that. I don't think he should have gone undefeated, because that's not what wrestling is about. You know what I mean? It's about using what you have become over the years to give back whenever it's not your time anymore. And Undertaker understands that better than anybody. So, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that he should have went undefeated.
And let's throw this real quick caveat out that undefeated streaks in wrestling usually end ugly, a la WCW, Goldberg, and a taser.
Yeah,
so
that was...
It happens. These undefeated streaks in wrestling that are built up for a long period of time usually don't end how we're supposed to or how we want it to. It makes you head scratch. So, that's how it ended. So, it's what I'm saying with this Undertaker losing of the streak. It was a poor build and a poor match, and holy crap, man. What a terrible way to end the streak.
Can't wait to hear about how it goes with Asuka.
Hey, she stayed undefeated through NXT, so she really could throw that fame that she was undefeated down there, unless she goes to a one-off down the line and loses, so she can say she lost at NXT.
Yeah, I doubt that's going to happen. You know, and personally, I don't even think, I don't really know, and I haven't really researched it, but I don't even think she got hurt, to be honest with you. I think they just wanted an excuse to move her to the main roster without her losing.
Well, and again, we'll dip into this another time, but I will say that the Mae Young winner, Kairi Sane, she's a really badass wrestler, and I think if you had that versus Asuka, it'd have been badass. And by the way, if we're gonna sit here and spitball one last topic, we both agreeing that Taker ain't done yet. There's gonna be one last match along the way.
What's not?
Do you think Taker's coming back for one last match?
I can't think right now who it would be interesting enough against. If it was going to, I feel like they would do it at WrestleMania, and then like we've been talking about this entire time, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? Especially, you went out in a very poignant way. You took off your gear, whatever. I think it's just time. Just let it be it. I would say just don't have any more Undertaker matches. And I love the Undertaker. I think he's fucking awesome. But, it's done. And we're good.
I agree. He should be done. Now, with that in mind, I think he's wrestling one more time. However, not at WrestleMania. I think he's going to be, in my opinion, the 5th member of SmackDown in a 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. He's going to be the last guy they're going to recruit for their team to try to win it for Team SmackDown. That's their pull him out of retirement thing. And it's going to be 5-on-4 for the bill with a mysterious person. And then the internet's going to speculate. And then maybe the match starts and then dong, and then the ice marks out. And think about it. If you're doing a 5-on-5 match, you only got to go in the freaking ring for 4 or 5 minutes worth of work. You're not in there for the whole time.
Right. Yeah.
And then you can retire afterwards.
If he was going to come back, you know what I mean? And, for something like a tag match where it wasn't that important, that the entire match heat was based off of his in-ring ability. If they were going to bring it back, I think that would be a good way to do it. That being said, that probably means that that's not going to happen because it's WWE and they're fucking up everything. So,
yeah. By the way, John Cena, Undertaker, that I said that should have happened last year. Oh, they'll probably do it this year, like a dumbass.
Probably better pass the torch to that youngster, 40-year-old Cena.
Yeah,
let's see what that kid's got.
His back hurts from carrying the company for a decade. He needs a little bit more ego.
Oh shit, man. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. Should he have lost to Brock Lesnar? Should Undertaker have lost to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 30? If so, why? If not, then how long should the streak have gone? Who would you have had him face? You know, let us hear your opinions. Also, if you think you got a great idea for a topic, leave that in the comments as well. Any final thoughts there, Tony?
Yes. And if you guys really do enjoy this show, please let me and EBar know, because we really like the feedback, and you guys are been a really good community so far and have given us all positive reviews on these late debate comebacks. And we really want to be here for you guys, and especially the ones that are diehard wrestling fans. I mean, we as me and EBar really kind of pissed off at the modern product. So if you can give us something to debate about that maybe brings our booking ideas in there, we're down for it.
Hell yeah. All right. So where can they find you, Tony?
Mixer.com/TH1NE. You could be TH1 Thine, whatever one you want to call it. Right now, I've been doing NBA 2K18, Madden, and soon to be Cuphead, because that game came out and it looks quite awesome.
Right on. All right. Follow me on Twitter at EBarSays. Follow the game we've got in development at Pixel City Bros on Twitter, Facebook.com/Pixel City Bros. And if you haven't yet, click that subscribe button and I will give you all the hearts. All right. Well, thank you so much for checking this out this time, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.